Hey guys,
hi.
Welcome to our channel. In this video today we'll be sharing with you guys a little bit of our journey from when baby Ethan was born. He was born 37 weeks, so just under a month early, and I guess it all kicked off 36 weeks. A few things happened, but Kim's going to do most of the talking and I'll just chime in where I can, and yeah.
Okay, so let's begin. 36 weeks. So at 36 weeks, I kind of had a feeling I was going to give birth soon because I was just super swollen and, I can feel he was really low, and I just was like, yep, he's ready to come out. But during that week, sadly, two main events happened. My father went into the hospital. He had 2 strokes, and obviously, being on this side of the world, it was pretty devastating for me. I felt helpless and I was really emotional, and it's not a good kind of thing.
Not a good mix. Not
a good mix. Pregnancy and something, dramatic like that happen is really hard. So, my hormones are raging and I was super emotional. So that happened, but thankfully he's okay. He's doing great. He came out of hospital a few days later and he's a-okay. Later on that week, it was on the Saturday or the Friday?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm totally wrong. I had an accident while I was cooking corn for this guy on the stove with boiling hot water. It was this massive metal pot, and I took some tea towels to grab the handles to take it off the stove, and unfortunately one of the tea towels got stuck in the grate of the grill thing of the gas stove, and it jolted the water and literally burnt my wrist in like a bracelet sort of form and gave me second-degree burn. I don't know if you can see because of the lighting, but it's still healing. It's still kind of fresh and itchy and red, and that sent me into shock. So the pain didn't send me into shock, it was like looking at it and the accident, and I freaked out and I just started crying, and I was so drained by the afternoon. I just slept the whole afternoon. Nems went to the chemist and got me creams and medicine that the doctor had prescribed because it was still in the middle of the coronavirus epidemic.
Yeah.
So Nems had to call his doctor to help us out because we weren't allowed to leave the house. And yeah, and then I just pretty much rested the whole afternoon, and a day and a half or 2 days later I woke up at about 1 a.m.
Yeah, 1 a.m.
in the morning, and
Sunday morning that was.
Okay, so that was the Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I ended up waking up choking on acid reflux, and he was already awake and he was freaking out because I was like wheezing. I couldn't breathe, and so I had to run to the toilet and I threw up, and I literally piddled myself. But I thought, okay, it's like kind of natural because when you're pregnant, you've got so much pressure down there. You kind of pee when you laugh, pee when you sneeze. So it was kind of like nothing new to me. And because I vomited, it was like pressure down there. And I didn't think anything of it. And then I vomited again and a little bit more came out. And I was just like, oh, that's fine. And I told Nems when I went back to bed, and he was like, okay, let's see what happens. Maybe in the next half hour your water might actually break because it could happen. And we kind of fell asleep and then woke up the next morning at around 6 a.m. and Nems went down to make a coffee. I went to the toilet as normal. Nothing out of the ordinary happened. I sat on the bed. I texted my midwife to let her know what happened, just in case, we weren't sure if it was my water breaking. And then at that time, my water literally broke, and I was like, the water was like everywhere. It drenched my pants, drenched the bed. I was like, okay, time to go. So I called this guy up to come upstairs, and I was like, my water broke. It's happening. And then from then I got ready. You kind of like organized the house. I had a shower, had breakfast. Nems put the baby car seat in the car. I was in the kitchen having a chat with my mom, and we thought, okay, we have to be at the hospital by 3 hours. So we left 2.5 hours later because it's dangerous to go any further after your water's broken after 3 hours. We casually made our way to the hospital, and we had to line up at the front foyer for the receptionist, and because of the coronavirus epidemic, everyone's like separated 1.5 meters and the line was huge. We finally got to the front desk, and Nems, with his awesome French, I can't really speak much French, I'm really bad at it, but he tried his best to tell the lady what had happened, that my water had broken, but really it translated super wrong, and you can tell them what it translated to.
Yeah, so I tried my best to translate, you know, hey listen, my wife's water broke, but it came out and she interpreted that the baby had died.
Inside.
So, and anyway, so they told us to, oh look, take a seat in the waiting area, and we're like, okay, this is unusual. And like, so from the get-go, I was already, you know, we're like, what's going on? And then,
but we didn't know we
didn't know.
We didn't know she thought that we had said that. You know?
And then the doctor came, our doctor, a gynecologist came in and was like, what are you guys doing here?
Why are you sitting here?
And then I was like, oh, well, she told us to wait here. And then he went and be like, listen, this lady is gonna give birth, like why is she sitting here? And then the lady was like, came back and apologized and was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I thought you meant that your baby was dead. And I was like, oh,
inside.
Yeah, inside. And I was like, and that you're just here to get it taken out? And I was like, oh no.
But I was thinking, even so, why are we waiting?
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then after that, things kind of hurried up from there, and Kim had to go upstairs, and I waited downstairs for an hour, I think.
Yeah, so I was upstairs, I went and got my check. Originally I went upstairs and I couldn't find where they sent me because they thought my baby had died, and they sent me to this other section, and I was like waiting and no one was there, so I'd come back down, and then that's when we kind of cleared the air, and I had another nurse come and take me upstairs and show me where to get checked for the baby. So I was checked for an hour, and I had showed that in the other video where I had the baby monitor on, heart monitor on, and then after that I met Nems out in the corridor and he had our suitcases. Then we went to our room, and we didn't get our initial room. We were changed twice, 2 rooms, because it was quite full apparently, and in this hospital you have to book a room, and the room that we originally booked was a bit bigger because, you know, we needed some space if we were going to be there for a week. Eventually we got our room finally, after changing twice, and then we kind of just relaxed, and I had to do exercises like walk back and forth in the room, and I walked for hours because I wanted to bring on the contractions. And this time, like, I still didn't have any contractions, you know. Even at the house I was like, okay, why am I not having any contractions? Hey, we found it odd because we didn't realize. Because
your water broke. And then, you know, we were automatically thinking, okay, well, can't be long now till, I guess, because what you watch in the movies and whatnot, you know, you always see the water breaking in the movies, so you think, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, holy, we're gonna have it.
Like he's coming soon.
But it wasn't to be.
Little did we know.
Little did we know. So we waited all day in the room, didn't we?
Yeah, I walked that much that my doctor was like, okay, the nurse has said you've walked so much that you need to rest because you're not going to have any energy for the labor. So we had lunch, we had dinner, we, you know, relaxed, and then I had started contractions at 11:45 at night. At night,
at night, 11:45. I was, mind you, because we didn't sleep. I mean, we just stayed up. And
we did not sleep.
So we probably, in hindsight, we should have slept. Because I think
we didn't realize how long
it was going to be. And then you started getting cramps, like mild cramps, and then it went from 0 to 100 pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah. So the midwife came in and we called her in with the buzzer. And she's like, okay, here's a yoga ball, go sit in the shower, put the warm water on your belly. And I was like, oh gosh, how uncomfortable, like naked on a yoga ball with the hot water.
I had to put hot water in.
You had to put hot water. It was just weird. But anyway, so we did that for an hour. And because she'd come and checked, and she's like, okay, you're 2 centimeters, you've got to, you know, you got to do something to quicken the process or whatever. And then so she came back after an hour and she checked me after that hour, and it was 2 centimeters. And then so she's like, okay, I'll come back in another hour, so go back on the yoga ball, go back in the shower and do the same process again. And I was like to Nems, I don't think I can last an
Yeah,
hour,
I
like
think
another hour.
Well, it went within the 20 minutes. You just gone from that to, no, I can't do this.
Yeah, so we called her back in
Yeah.
and she checked me again and I was 4 centimeters.
Yeah, like it like literally opened up and I was just like, because by then she was like, you know, shouting and not shouting, but like, you know, she was in pain.
A little bit stern.
Yeah, and then I was just like, yeah, nah. As a, you know, I don't know what she's going through. I'm like, oh, yep, this is my calling. Better call the nurse. And then she came and, but what really bugged me is just how relaxed they were and just like. Okay.
She was like, okay, let's take it to the labor room now.
Yeah.
And I was like annoyed because she should have taken me to the labor room when I was already 2 centimeters because it went pretty fast.
100%.
And I should have had the epidural by 3 centimeters already and I was 4.
Yeah.
So we went to the labor room and
Just
it was
strolled.
a bit, but it was a bit of a walk.
Yeah, at least a good 50, 60 meters.
Yeah, and then I was like hoping I would not have a contraction because it was just painful at that time. We got to the labor room and it just...
Boom, it all kicked off. We thought that 2 hours, I thought that 2 hours leading into it was like, okay, this is intense.
Like gradual.
Nah, this just went from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think as soon as you sat on that bed in the labor room.
Yeah, as soon as I sat on the bed,
boom.
It was like a contraction like no other. It was like epic. Yeah. It was so painful that I had to close my eyes. And that's when, like, I didn't scream, but I was like making a loud noise.
You
like,
shouted like as if like a stern shout. Like I've never felt.
I can't even remember.
And I was just like, and like I'm standing.
What did I say?
No, you're like, whoa, I can't sit. And I'm just sitting there going, and doctors are like, and I'm like, man, don't piss her off. Like, I'm in like line of fire here, and you've grabbed me. Like she's grabbed me really, and I've never. You know, in the time that I've known her, I've never had that strength from her, and I was just like, ooh. Yeah,
I grabbed your chest and I literally screamed in your chest, and the like the nurse or whatever, she's like, you need to sit down because you know the anaesthetist is coming.
I can't even sit down, and I'm like, don't piss her off, please.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, the anaesthetist is coming. Oh. But he didn't come for like 20 minutes.
And he took his time. He's like, he's just doing paperwork.
And I was like, paperwork? I literally had a checkup the week before so that I didn't have to wait, you know.
You did like a rehearsal.
Not a rehearsal, it was like a...
Go over what you...
Yeah, just to check that I was okay.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was in the all clear to get an epidural and that I wouldn't have to wait when the time came. And then she's like, he's got to check your paperwork. I was like, there's one piece of paper and it says, it's okay.
It's okay, you've done everything.
So we kind of knew it was either he was busy or, you know...
There were other stuffs going on.
Yeah, or, you know, they were understaffed or something. And then so when he came in, he's like, you need to sit down. And I was like, I can't sit down because I was having my next contraction.
Yeah, that was after that big one though.
Yeah.
She was trying to get you to sit down and then you're like, I can't.
I can't.
And that's, yeah.
And then I was literally standing up, still clenching onto you, to your chest. And then I literally squeezed my legs together like this because it was, I could feel him coming down. And the anesthetist was like, what did you say? I was like, his head's coming out. Like, he's coming out. Like, I was like freaking out. Hey.
Yes.
But then it was really annoying because, you know, we don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if he's gonna come out right now. Like, I don't, you know.
It's first time experience.
Yeah, so the midwife actually should have told me, because we found this out after from my midwife that we had been doing prenatal classes with for the past 2 months. She told me, you know, the midwife should have just said, okay, it's time to push. You could have pushed him out because I was actually going through natural
you were experiencing natural
labor and it was too late for the epidural. So
in hindsight, the epidural kind of
it just numbed me and it actually just screwed up the whole thing, like the whole process. It just prolonged.
It prolonged the process. Like it could have. Our midwife said we could have had the baby an hour before.
Yeah, within 15 minutes of those contractions.
Yeah. But the fact that they waited and the epidural kicked in, that added another hour and a half, and then you know, by then when the epidural kicked in,
yeah, it was too late.
Yeah.
So, you know, if she just said, okay, Kim, he is coming out, push, then he would have probably come out because I was holding him in pretty much.
Yeah.
And finally, like, you know, anaesthetist gave me my epidural, it was too late. And it just numbed me, and he gave me a lot because my contractions were so big. I went from, we found out after, I was 5 centimeters when I got to the labor room, but within 5 minutes, I went to 10 centimeters, and the midwife was like, she's never seen anything like it before, experienced it like it before. So I was like, okay, she must be very new at this, because, you know, obviously she's never experienced that with anyone.
By then you were exhausted. I think you were...
Yeah, those contractions took it out of me. Yeah. I literally laid there and I was like falling asleep, and then the midwife was like, she checked me again. She's like, oh, he's a bit far up. And I was like, I don't think he's far up, because I could feel him before I had the epidural. And then she's like, we're gonna wait an hour until the doctor comes. And I was like, huh? Like an hour? I'm pretty sure like I should be pushing right now. Like, you know, before the process was just like not right. And then so she's like, okay, we're gonna do practice pushing. And I was like, really? And she couldn't even really see on the monitor like my contractions, because I think the epidural pretty much weakened them. And so she was waiting for a contraction, and they were just so weak. And I think at that time she could tell like, oh, this is not gonna be a good run with pushing. So eventually the doctor came in, and she was like, okay, we're gonna start pushing now. They put my legs up on stirrups, which was so awkward, and I do not recommend. Like, it's like defies gravity, hey. And my legs were up, and it was just not the best way to give birth. And she was just like, okay, let's start pushing. I gave it a good, what, 40 minutes of pushing?
Yeah, good 40 minutes.
And I was so exhausted, and my contractions were so weak, and I don't even remember at this time, but Nem said that the doctor was like, okay, I'm gonna cut you.
Yeah, she said, oh, I'm gonna cut you, and I think by then you were in and out because you were that tired. And then from what I remember, yeah, she cut you, and then it was like, I think that was halfway through.
Yeah, and then he still didn't come out.
Still didn't come.
And throughout this whole time of pushing, and when the doctor was there, I had my eyes closed because I was so exhausted. Like, I couldn't open my eyes. I don't know why, but I just could not open my eyes. But when I did open my eyes is when I heard Nems just say, oh, hell no, or oh, nah. Like, all I heard was, you said something like that.
Or something along those lines when she brought out the, what's it called?
She brought out the forceps.
Yeah, something that Kim specifically said she didn't want.
Specifically, I did not want that. There were two things I did not want. I did not want to feel the full force of natural labor, because I wanted an epidural. Like, I badly wanted just, you know, the epidural, and that didn't happen, and I ended up feeling full labor, natural labor. And then the other thing was, like, I didn't want forceps or vacuum induced on my baby.
So two things that you didn't want.
Yeah, and there were the two things like I really didn't want, and
that was disappointing, I think. Really disappointing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really upsetting, because it was like, this is not what it's supposed to, like, we're thinking this is not what it's supposed to be like, you know. And you know, all the classes with the midwife and that prepared us for this moment. It just went out the window, because everything just went wrong pretty much. And it wasn't our fault, because we weren't advised by like the team that was in the room. It was just how it panned out, and they kind of did their own thing. And so when the forceps came out, I opened my eyes, and I was just like, my heart broke, because there were these massive tongs, metal tongs, hey. And I was just like in shock, and I just, you know, was pretty much praying like, oh, I hope my baby's gonna be okay, because you know, it's irreversible at this time. There's no time to get cesarean, and I'm having a dry labor. Like, it's too late, you can't go back from it, and there's no way to get him out. So I had no choice but to let her take him out with forceps, and that broke my heart. It killed me, because when he came out, he literally had these red, it looked like burn marks, hey? Like, it was really bad.
Like
down the side of his face, and I literally cried. I just cried when I saw him, because I was so scared that, you know, I've heard so many stories about the use of forceps. I was so scared, like, you know, he could get brain damage, he could, you know, his skull could be crushed. Like there's so many worst case scenarios with using those things that I was just so scared, because my doctor was like, oh, it's very rare for forceps to be used.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, do you remember in my consultation?
Like, it's rare, but everything you said, everything they said was rare happened.
Yeah, so
just like, by then I was like, mate.
Yeah, it was just not a great experience. And then so
but most importantly, he came out and he was healthy, and
yeah, he did his initial cry. And then he went to sleep on my chest and he was sucking his thumb. So but in saying that, I did post up a photo on Instagram of me holding him straight after he came out, but it hurts me so much to see the photos of those marks on his face that I removed them. Like I edited them off, because every time I see them, like I literally like I just want to cry, you know, like it really, you know, I get so emotional. Anyway, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
But I get so emotional seeing those marks that I just don't want to be reminded by those forceps, you know. But all in all, he's safe, he's healthy, and there's nothing wrong with him, thank goodness. And he's like, it was like the best moment.
Yeah,
you know?
Very. For me, I guess for me as a father, was just to see him come out. Like I thought I was going to cry. I didn't cry.
He watched the full thing, by the way, without fainting.
I think that's probably why I was still taken back, as
I was expecting the nurses to be like, oh my goodness, your husband's on the ground.
But like for fathers or partners to watch that, like I actually saw the whole thing. Like everything. It was crazy, yeah. Well, you've got to though. Like people say, oh, I'm not gonna, but you've got to. Like but that's just life. Like it's just amazing to see it. But yeah, he came out and I was just like, it probably took me about a week just to be like,
yeah, you were kind of like not in shock, but he was kind of like, what? Like I have a child.
And then it took about a week to kick in that, like, holy heck, there's my flesh and blood. And ever since then, like, I've had to get to know him, because I've been up, you know, I'm only having 2-3 hours sleep and helping mum recover. Yeah. But hey, that's a job of a father anyway. So I'm really enjoying fatherhood, and it's the best thing. So.
But how funny is, like, because we totally expected, well, I totally expected for him to come out looking more like you.
He does. Yeah, he does. He looks exactly like me. Like.
Because I'm mixed, like I'm half filler, half Australian with a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah. But he's like full Fijian, so this child came out looking like Asian.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And we used to joke around about it.
Yeah, 100%. Even now, he's 3 weeks on, he's growing, he's coming to his own, he's getting heavy. And
he's getting a bit of colour now, looking Fijian. He's got like curly hair. When
bit of attitude.
Oh gosh.
Only wants to be with her.
Yeah.
Like, I'll carry him, and he's just like, uneasy, cries. As soon as his mum walks in, he'll literally, like, wherever his mum, the direction of his mum, he'll try and look, and then he'll try and get her attention, and then by then he'll just sleep on her, and I'm just like, you little. So, but look, I guess we're all trying to fight for, you know, the only lady in the house. So, but no, it's been.
Yeah, it's been a great experience.
So far, anyway.
Yeah, despite the lack of sleep. But you know, everyone says that's the norm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But we're getting into a bit of a rhythm. We've tried everything, you know, just to make sure he's comfortable and we can get him sleeping for at least 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd be lucky if it was 5 hours, but yeah, usually 4 hours. But no, we're really enjoying it, and despite the bad experience that we had for the labour and the birth, you know, we're just grateful that he's okay and he's healthy and safe. But there's a lot of things we would do different next time, you know.
100%. I mean, we didn't know this first time.
We didn't know what to really expect. And what we kind of thought would happen did not happen. So like, you know, you have this idea in your head about giving birth, and you know, you have a plan, but no, it didn't go to plan. So next time we're going to speak up if, you know.
What do you mean next time?
Well, I want another one. I thought you wanted 3.
Yeah, until this one came. And look, life's we're busy once we get to England.
So you don't want any more?
Let's not put.
It should be me saying that I don't want any more because of what I physically had to go through.
Yeah, 100%. But we'll see. But right now we've got our hands full.
Hopefully we'll have number 2 soon.
Yeah. We'll worry about that when we come to that. But yeah, guys, I think that pretty much we've we've pretty much rounded everything off and shared, you know, that's our journey of how baby Ethan arrived. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. And
yeah, because I don't think a lot of people share.
Yeah.
Like what they go through with the labour and birth. If it, you know,
yeah.
maybe if it was in a perfect sort of scenario, but ours was far from perfect.
Yeah, far from perfect. I think it's good to share that. You know, I know there's, for us as new parents, we've always were on YouTube all the time, like seeing how other parents were like, and you know what they went through, and
trying to prepare ourselves.
Yeah, we were just trying to prepare things, but nothing prepares you for this. And, but yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and you know, we look forward to sharing our journey with you guys on this platform on YouTube. And
so until next time.
Until next time, guys.
Bye for now.
Ciao.